Now that it's time to start doing some scholarly research for the class, I wanted to show you how you can use the CCCC library database. If you go to cccc.edu/library, it'll take you to this landing page. From here, there's lots of different places you can go. I'm going to show you the main ones, but I just want to explain to you very quickly. The catalog is kind of like the physical books you have on site. You've got some guides on how to do researches. If you want to look for individual databases, search one by one instead of everybody at once. Information on journals, and then how you can request a loan from a different library if we don't have it. However, I think what you're going to use the most is this main summon search right here, and then this CCCC chat box. This CCCC librarian chat box operates 24/7 except for on federal holidays. So anytime you're doing research and you need help, you can just click into the box and start chatting and send them a question, and they are able to help. This chat box is awesome because they can help you with your keyword search. And like if you find a source but it's not the full source and you need help finding the full source or finding other sources or just navigating, this is a great resource you can use. And like I said, it's 24/7 except for holidays, so they're always available to help you even if it's late at night. So the Summon catalog is where you'll do a lot of your research that through CCCC, especially if you want it to be online. So like you're looking for scholarly journals and stuff like that, this is where you're going to go. The catalog will look for like books, DVDs, and other things on the like physical campuses, but most of our journals, if not all of them, are going to be online. So that's why you'd use the Summon. Always leave this full text online box checked because you shouldn't use a source unless you can read the full text. So finding sources that you can't read is kind of pointless for yourself. There are a couple of different things you can try. I'm going to talk more about this peer review later, but if you want to ensure that something is considered a scholarly source, that you want to ensure that it's peer reviewed, if you check that box, it will only bring that up. But I want to show you that again in a minute. So unlike Google, where you can write in a question, database searching is a little bit different. You have to use keywords and you have to combine them a little bit differently. So instead of asking, what is an oyster recovery act, I can't ask that because what's going to happen is it's going to look for anything that has the word what is an oyster recovery act. It's just looking for those words. And let's just see what chaos happens when I search that. Instead, if I wanted to look for something, I would need to pull up specific words. So it's looking for anything that has all of those in there, and you can see it limits me to 95 results, which isn't horrible, but it's not great. So again, I'm just going to go back and start over. So if I wanted to look up like oysters and recovery, like I wanted to do like how can we recover oysters and like how they help the water, maybe I'm looking for that. So this is where we're going to use something called a Boolean operator. There's a couple of them. One is you can use all caps and recovery, and this means it's only going to look for things that have the words oysters and recovery as part of the keywords in the title and the summary, the abstracts. But you'll notice I put the word all and in all caps. I did that to indicate this was a way of me combining phrases, not an additional word. If I wrote it in lowercase, it would be looking for the word oyster, the word and the word recovery. Right now it's just looking for oysters and recovery. So then if I hit search, it's going to start running through all the databases and pulling what it can find. And you can see I have 1,700 results. That's a lot, and I don't need to read all 1,700, but you can limit it further. You can look for only ebooks. You can click that peer reviewed again. You can limit to what kind of things you want to read, or if you know you don't want to read newsletters, you can click on the X and it will get rid of newsletters. You can keep limiting by when it was published, what kind of discipline it's in, some other subject terms. You can even limit it by language if you really wanted to, but I don't think that's quite necessary right now. So like I mentioned about peer review, if for something to be peer reviewed, it means that it has been written and evaluated by a subject expert, an expert in their field, and it is deemed to be scholarly logical research. So if I'm doing scholarly research, a lot of times I just go ahead and check that. So that way I know I'm really getting something that has been checked. It has been approved by experts of that field. And you can see already my numbers are getting lower. From here, I could just kind of start scrolling and see what I find to decide whether keywords I might need, but there's some important things I want to show you here. This will give you the title, authors, the journal, some of that publishing information, a little blurb. Here it tells you it's full text. You can look at who's citing it and who do they cite. You can also click on this quick look, which will give you the full abstract, so the full summary and some other helpful information, like maybe it gives you other subjects this deals with, in case you want some more keywords, tell you page numbers and those kind of things as well. You can bookmark anything by clicking this bookmark button, and it will save them over here to your bookmarks. But when you restart your browser, or if you like let it sleep for a long time and like reopen it later, it may not have them saved. So at the end of your research, if you have bookmarks saved, always go into this bookmark area, and you're going to want to print or email these results to yourself. So just put in your email so you can tell yourself what it is, click the robot and hit send. But that's how the bookmark page works. You also can copy a permanent link. This link will always take you to this exact article, whereas like the URL up here could change and take you to something else. So that's the permanent link. It will always take you exactly where you want to go. You can email just one thing at a time to yourself through this little button. But I think what a lot of you guys are going to be interested in is this little quotation mark where it says cite this item. You can click on it and you can tell it to go to MLA or APA, but in my class, chances are you're using MLA right now. And you can go there and then you can get this initial works cited citation. You can start with this, that's fine, but please check it. You can copy and paste it to your works cited area, but you do need to go behind it and check, because they could have left something else out. They could have done the wrong formatting or something could be missing. So please double check that. I will also note that copying the permanent link into like a Citation Maker website isn't normally going to work for you. Sometimes it can pull the information you need, but sometimes it can't, because it doesn't have the same access as you do to all of these because of your CCCC account. So again, if you want to try to use something to help you do your citations, use this one in here and then go back and check behind it by comparing it to the actual MLA format or whatever formatting method you are using. If you wanted to do something where you want to say oysters, you wanted to widen your search, so and narrows it because you have to include both. If you wanted to widen it, you could always put the word or. So maybe I want to say recover or rebuild, right? So that tells it can look for oysters and recovery or oysters and rebuilding. I use the parentheses to indicate like that's a grouping instead of having it look for oysters and recovery or rebuild. Like it just changes it. So parentheses keeps something grouped together. And then and combines, or says you can do either one. So I could do something like that. Or if I really wanted to, maybe I wanted like social media. So I'm keeping that phrase together. And we'll say youth or teenagers, right? So now it knows to keep social media together, but also look for one of these other words. If I want to limit that, I'm only going to research about social media and young adults, okay? So Boolean operators are very, very helpful when you're doing research in this database, because that's how you figure things out. So sometimes it can feel frustrating for you to start doing research in the database, because it's different than just going to Google and looking for something. But by using things like this, it can start to make a difference for you. And you can get further and further limited if you want. If you're ever like, I'm actually not sure what keywords I want to use, you can start with something and say you find like this article right here. You can always look at what subjects they list that this applies to as well. And then sometimes if you click into the actual articles, sometimes, not every time, they might have other, like this one doesn't have it, but sometimes you would click into it and you would see like a whole bunch of keywords here you could also search for, but you could also find where they share similar articles to what you're reading. So research can sometimes feel a little clunky to start, but if you take some time with it, you really work with it, you pay attention to keywords that you're using, that articles are using, or look at like links they might provide you, or if you even wanted to, you can always go down to the person's reference page and then maybe you find some of those and start searching for them as well. So give yourself some grace as you start working with this database. And remember to use keyword searches as you're going, but you should be great. And you always have this CCCC librarian chat box there to help you as well.